Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing good. So, in my today's session, I think a short session I would say, I'm going to introduce this read only keyword in C sharp. So, let's start with it. So, in C sharp, you are allowed to declare a field using read only modifier. It indicates that the assignment to the fields is only the part of the declaration or in a constructor to the same class. So, if you declare a field in a class, okay, either it may be a value type or reference type, okay, if you use the read only keyword, then that particular field can only be assigned either in the declaration itself, like public read only int x equal to 0, okay, or in the constructor. So in the constructor you can assign some value to that, but apart from these two places you can't assign any value to this read only fields. This is very useful, especially when you are when you are basically making use of a lot of service objects in your service classes. Okay, so for example, you have a business layer service, say I order service, and that service, that order service is dependent on a lot of other services like I payment service, I inventory service. Okay, in such cases, all this kind of service instance variables can be made read only, because you are not required to change their reference type again and again. Once the dependency injection resolves that instance of particular service class, right, you can simply refer to that and make use of that throughout the lifetime of your request. Okay, one such example I have given. Okay, so such types of fields can only be assigned or reassigned multiple times only at the declaration or in the constructor. They are not assigned after the constructor exit. If the read only modifier is used with a value type field, then the field is immutable. Basically the value is immutable basically. Okay, you can't assign a new value. Okay, and if the read only modifier is used with a reference type field, then the read only modifier prevents the field from replaced by different instances of the reference type. Here the read only modifier does not stop the instance data of the field from being modified through the read only field. Okay, so in case of primitive types, that is the struct types. Okay, so if you use read only modifier, then you can't assign a new value to that. So they basically act like the const variables. Once something is assigned, you can't modify that, except the value can be assigned at the declaration or in the constructor. And when in case of reference variables, okay, or reference types, the reference can't be changed once assigned to a reference variable. Okay, so if you have made a class member as read only, and which basically holds the object reference, in such case, once the value has been assigned, so once the object reference has been assigned to that field variable, right, that reference can't be changed any further. Okay, read only structures. In the read only structure, the read only modifier indicates that the given structure itself is immutable. When you create a read only structure, it is necessary to use a read only modifier with its fields. If you do not do this, then the compiler will give an error. This was an initial feature, but now with the introduction of C sharp 8.0 read only members, okay, this feature is introduced. So here what happens is you are allowed to use a read only modifier to any member of the structure, or whatever members you want to make them as a read only. This read only modifier specifies that the member is not allowed to modify. It is better than applying the whole structure read only with the previous versions basically. I don't want to take much examples because this is very commonly used practice. We use a lot of read-only instance variables in our day-by-day programming. So I will leave it to you people to explore more on this. And then one important thing is ref read-only return. This is something which is newly introduced. The read-only modifier on a ref return indicates that the return reference can't be modified. The following example returns a reference to the origin. Okay, it uses a read-only modifier to indicate that callers can't modify the origin basically. So the type return doesn't need to be a read-only struct. Any type that can be returned by a ref can be returned by a ref read-only. So one such example over here: private static read-only, a point yes underscore origin equal to new sample point, and what they are doing, public static ref read only, okay, sample point origin. They have written a method here basically, okay, a lambda expression which returns a ref return basically, ref yes underscore origin. Okay, so your yes underscore origin is basically a read only object. Okay, it's basically a read only object. So what you are doing by making use of this method called origin, okay, or a sample point, you are simply returning the ref yes underscore origin. So this reference can't be modified any further. Okay, so that is the ref return basically. So I hope this is useful for you people. So please do remember these constraints and concepts associated with the read only keyword. Thank you for listening and have a nice day.